Hi there, everybody. I'm meteorologist Anthony J. here, part of America's Weather Streaming Channel, and giving folks with interest in the Caribbean an update on Hurricane Beryl. Yes, we have a hurricane, the first hurricane of the Atlantic season, barreling down on the Caribbean as of this time. It's a little before 9:30 Atlantic time, Eastern time on Saturday. Now, here's the National Hurricane Center webpage. These are the tropical areas they watch. This is the hurricane here, Beryl. As of the last update, it was about a little more than 600 miles southeast of Barbados and moving westward at 22 miles per hour. The wind's 80 miles per hour as of that update, but it is increasing and moving at a fast pace west at 22 miles per hour. So that you can imagine there are watches, there are warnings up for these islands, and I'll show you where they are in just a minute. Here's the satellite. The storm is right here, growing in size and intensity. There's more activity, a couple waves here, one over Mexico. There's one over the East Atlantic. They could develop too. This is going to be a very active hurricane season, but the only concern really at this moment is Hurricane Beryl. Here is a look, another perspective of a satellite picture, and you can see here's the storm right here circulating around. We're getting deep colors. That's how the satellite interprets the height of the thunderstorms, and an eye is trying to form here underneath that. And when that happens, that's when you know the storm is really starting to go. And a closer look, you can see again, there's convection around an eye wall trying to form, and eventually an eye should form out of that as the storm continues to strengthen. Hard to tell where it is on the close-up, but it's getting, again, it's about 600 or so miles from the southeastern windward islands. Here are the forecast models that the Hurricane Center uses, and they put these models together. They're all very tightly clustered. That's good. So that means it's likely to follow, the path that we're forecasting and not deviate too much. Taking the eye of the storm very close to Barbados. It could pass right over Barbados. St. Vincent, also St. Lucia, are under the gun with this, and the islands nearby will see more peripheral effects. There'll be some heavy rain, but it's really these islands here that will get the worst. Now, you also see these tracks go west. This is by around Wednesday. It's nearing Jamaica, so it goes across the Caribbean near Jamaica Wednesday, and then by late in the week, Friday, it's getting too close to most likely Mexico by that time. We think it's going to stay south of Cuba and well south, say, of Florida. Now, here's the official path from the Hurricane Center. This is where it is right about now at the X, and there's the official path. This red, you have hurricane warnings up for St. Vincent, Barbados, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadine Islands, the small islands surrounding there. So you are under the most threat if you're in those islands. There's tropical storm warnings up here a little bit farther north as you head to around Martinique and Tobago. You have a tropical storm warning. But the islands I want to mention again: Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Grenada. Those are the islands that stand to possibly see the full force of the storm. And you can see on this Google Earth image, I got to show it to you graphically here. If you're in these areas, anything under the path here is where we're going to see the most damage, I'm afraid. Now, here's a look at a future cast of the storm beginning here at around, this is 2 p.m. on Sunday. Here's the storm at the bottom of the screen, and I'm going to play this, and you'll watch it moving west. This is Sunday night. Pausing it right there. There's the storm on the American model. At 4 a.m., it has it practically on top of Barbados or some distance to the south. So this storm is going to come in the dark of the night. There won't be much as far as weather associated with it during the day Sunday. It's just going to come right in a rush, in a hurry during the nighttime and cause a lot of wind, of course, a lot of rain and some storm surge. Advancing it further, it keeps moving along. And then pausing it here, this is 8 p.m. on Monday. It has cleared the islands and conditions will improve. But we are concerned because this storm is forecast to get up to a Category 3 as it moves by the islands here. Now, looking more longer range, here's the storm here. And you can see, taking that path that the Hurricane Center is saying, it reaches Jamaica by, like I said, around Wednesday. The Cayman Islands will have some impacts, and then most likely the Yucatan by around Friday. The hurricane will be in that area. It may weaken some by the time it gets there. The intensity forecast is more uncertain at that point. And even the GFS is showing another storm here a part of the tropical wave that could impact the islands there too later next week. That might be Chris, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves yet, and a lot of uncertainty about that potential storm. But here on X, you can see storm chaser Reed Timmer. He tweeted this and mentioned Hurricane Beryl has formed. It's forecast to be a Category 3. This is a snapshot of one of the models during early Monday morning. If you look closely, it's hard to see, but that's the eye of the storm. This is St. Vincent Island right here. This is St. Lucia right here. Barbados is out in this area here. So it's going to pass through all those islands, and some areas will get about the full brunt of the storm the way it's looking. Let me show you the same model with kind of looping it and how it moves through time. This is at 5 o'clock Sunday. You can't tell where it is, but it's east of Barbados at 5 o'clock. And then as I move it forward, what you'll see every 3 hours on the screen, you can see that's Barbados. And this is 11 o'clock on Sunday night. So you're starting to get into some of the feeder bands after dusk there in Barbados, it looks like. And then during the night, the overnight, things rapidly deteriorate. The eye comes close to you. The closest approach, say around 4 a.m. and towards dawn, is when the worst conditions will be hitting you, right there in Barbados. This model has the eye wall just missing Barbados, actually, which would be better if it passes a little to the south. But it could very well just scrape right over the island. And then fast forwarding it to 3 hours later, it has the eye moving right over the eye wall, right over St. Vincent and some of the Grenadine Islands here, with lesser effects, but still significant around St. Lucia. Martinique will have squally winds. Barbados starts to improve later in the morning on Monday. So again, of course, heavy rain. There's going to be the threat of mudslides and flash flooding. This model showing the accumulations of rain. This is in millimeters, but this is really about 4 to 8 inches of rain that it's predicting generally. Since it's going to move fairly quickly, the rainfall amounts won't be as heavy, so that's some good news. And here's the path. These are the warnings now, hurricane warnings. You see the time between 2 a.m. and 2 p.m. Monday is going to be when we should see the worst conditions. Let's say after midnight through about early afternoon on Monday. And that means stay indoors. Everyone's got to make the preparations down here because and it's forecast to be a Category 3. Like the Hurricane Center has it here, H, hurricane, but M is major. So by 2 a.m. Monday, it is a major hurricane, 115 miles an hour, approaching Barbados and cutting through these southern islands. So it is extremely important that everybody make their preparations while they still can and ride out the storm, and then it'll get out of here by, like I said, later on Monday. You can find America's Weather streaming channel online on X here. You can find us right here. You can find us on YouTube, where we'll be posting updates on this storm and severe weather going on all across the nation. So you can find it right here. And also Weather Valet and the America's Weather streaming channel website. There's the address for that. Weather Valet, the new app that just launched back on April 1st. And we're really excited about that. So definitely check that out. And we'll have more updates on the storms. Stay safe, everybody, and have a nice and pleasant weekend.